Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Is Difficult. I almost just pulled my fucking headphones out, just doing that little hand gesture right there in the beginning. We are a podcast. We try so hard and we get so far, but in the end, it matters to you viewers. I don't fucking know.
Oh
That's
man,
right. We're Zachless today. So
we are
you got Lord
Zachless today.
Yeshua and Ryugami-san, and that's it. It's a 2-for-1,
Just
baby.
the two of us. We can
We can
make it
make
if
it
we
if we
try.
try. Oh,
Hey,
we
hey.
got one for you. I got a fat review coming up. Paul, kick us off with deets real quick.
Well, we've got stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
We
sure
got your
do.
review. We have
Oh,
a
I love it.
discussion about the fate of
The
game
world.
stores
Oh.
and also scalpers and how we can maybe try and combat that.
Yeah.
And
No
what
milk
else?
carton.
I don't know. That's no. You know what? I should have done a milk carton, but I didn't have time to set it up. Actually, I had plenty of time to set it up. I just didn't think
Yeah.
about setting it up.
We forgot
Uh,
until now.
I had a ton of time to set it up. Actually, I had literally all the time to set it up until
All
you
the time
just
in the
mentioned
world.
it.
Damn it.
I just
Too late.
completely
Now there's no
forgot.
time.
Yeah, now there's
Do
no time.
whatever
I
you
could
want.
probably slapdash it, but then that would
Nah.
be yeah,
Pretty slapped.
yeah, be very slap. Let's see. There's
Slapped
that
and
we got the
dashing.
carton, but I don't know what photo. I would have to do a lot of editing to
Nah, don't worry about it.
fix it. Anyway, how's
Anywho,
have you been?
he's
You were
gone.
gone last week,
I did
so
it. I
you've
shit the bed.
that's okay. We all shit in the
Didn't
bed
wipe.
sometimes.
Sometimes it just happens.
Yeah,
That's
but
not why I was
how you been? How
gone.
you been for the last 2 weeks? What's
Not
been going on with you?
bad. Work's been kind of a bleh, and then
Mhm.
not much gaming going on. I've been working on a lot of personal shit, like my script. Oh yes, yes, for my cartoon. That's
Mhm.
pretty fun.
Yeah.
Uh, Aside from that, I've been doing a lot of voice acting, and yeah, my regular job is kind of breaking my soul. I hope my job is not listening right now, but it's getting to that point where it's like, oh man, my extracurriculars are so much better, but I just need
Yeah.
that paycheck.
Yeah.
So once those extracurriculars start making more money, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
We'll get there. That's the dream in life, right,
I
guys?
get
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I can 100% relate, especially because like me and the wife are like thinking about buying a new house, and it would be so much easier if I had more money. You
More
know,
money
so
and enjoyed your job. Nah, if you enjoy it,
yeah.
it's cool. But
Um,
and then yes, aside from that, that's my life.
yeah.
That's it.
Have you played any games in the last couple
I
weeks?
played and beat Yoshi, and then me and Colin streamed Paper Mario, which was supposed to be a co-op, but it ended up being my best PR on the speed run yet. So I never really done like a no combat run on that, and so it took us like 3 streams to beat it. I think we beat it in 8.5 hours, which is not that short. But for me,
For
normally
you,
beating
it's
that game in
PR.
about 12 hours, yeah, it's normally like I would say a 12-hour game.
Yeah.
And we beat it in 8.5 hours. I was like, damn, that's an insane PR. I think I could beat it in like 6 actually now too, knowing what I know. It's pretty insane.
Very
But that
cool.
was a really fun run. And then Yoshi, I thought I was gonna 100% this game. We'll talk about that more in the review.
Yeah.
But I have some good and some bad, but it's a fun game, and I will get into that
I'm
obviously.
glad
But
you
that's pretty
finished
much
it
all I
because
did.
you were like
Yeah.
ready to review it when you were like maybe halfway through,
Yeah.
and you're like, "It's the best game ever," and I was like, "Maybe
It's
just
a
finish the
it's
game."
a game. It's
You know?
We're getting there. I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it.
Um.
But yeah. I gotta
Oh,
finish it first.
right on. Very cool.
Right on, right on. And then we
I
got
have
Paul.
been good. Just kind of
Awesome.
same situation with work. I'm trying to, like
Keep
working
us
on
going.
certifications. I want to like, move past where I am at and make more money. And then, just in the meantime, doing my thing. Started doing martial arts again, so that's cool. Yeah, that's
Oh,
exciting, which is
beating
why I
ass.
moved my stream from Wednesdays to Thursdays, which I didn't realize at the
Yeah.
time is kind of a problem because that's when that's when Zach streams. I don't know why I do this, especially when both of you or one of you
You
is
only got
missing.
2 friends.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
When one of you is missing, I always like wrong name the other one. But
The cat
yeah,
is.
so like Zach streams on Thursdays, so that's kind of a problem, but like I can't really do much
You
about it
can
right now.
suck it. What
So
are you gonna
yeah, I
do?
wouldn't say that. I like to
Suck
watch
it,
Zach
Zach.
stream,
I'm
so
just kidding.
suck it, Zach. No, but anyway, so yeah, I'll figure that out. I might, you know, try and stream later on that night or something like that, but we'll see.
Mm.
But I've been playing some games too. I've been playing Kena Bridge of Spirits, which
Yeah, it looks
you
really
need to
good.
check that game out.
Yeah, I
Holy
know.
crap, that game is
Costs
like
money though,
I
and
know.
Dread comes out in
That's
5
true. That's true.
days.
It's only $40 though, brand spanking new. So
Oof,
there's
not
that.
so much
And
this
and
month.
number, yeah, I get you. I get you. It's money. I get you. But it also is like literally your style of game.
It looks exactly like
Yeah.
Star Fox Adventures
It's
with
got a very Star Fox
yeah.
Adventure feel to it, but in my opinion, it's better. It's,
Mm,
I don't know.
better than Star Fox
I
Adventures,
well,
which of
yeah. I
course is a
mean,
GameCube game, so yeah, I guess it makes sense.
yeah, but it's awesome. I have not finished it yet, but I will review that when we're done with it.
That does sound like a good game. It's on
Yeah,
Steamals?
it is on Epic Games.
Ugh,
So it is on PC, but
fuck
it is not
Epic.
on. Yeah, it's a
Ah,
bummer, but I mean, it's
we'll
still on
see how
PC.
good it is after you beat it.
And it's on
Let's see if it holds up.
PS4 and PS5, which I'm playing on
Why?
PS5.
Can't be on Steam, huh? Wow.
People, so this is a small studio, right? And it's their first ever video game, which is
Wouldn't they want
incredible.
it on Steam then?
Well, they want it on whoever's going to pay them to make it, which would be
True.
Sony, and Epic paid them a lot of money to make that game. You know
Oof.
what I'm saying? So I think that's what it boils down to. And that's why you see exclusives
It's
in
fine.
general a lot of times, especially when it comes
Yeah.
to like indie studios. Um,
That's true. I guess people that aren't like people that want to be Nintendo fans but don't ever have like Nintendo consoles probably hate Nintendo. They like hate that. They're like, "Oh, I can't play Mario. I can't do that. I don't have anything."
right.
Like at least you get an alternate option by having an Epic Pass
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. It's good though. So I've been playing that. Still
Hmm.
playing through the expansion for Ghost of Tsushima,
Okay,
which is
okay.
really good. I'm kind of
Okay,
taking my time
okay.
with that. I could have probably finished that in 2 streams if I really wanted to, because I don't believe it's very long. As far as like the amount of story content they added, but there's a ton of other stuff to do. So I've just been doing that. And it's really fun.
Mm,
And I mentioned this last week. I didn't do as much of this week, but I still did. I've been still playing a lot with like Game Boy Advance games. So like the two in particular that I've kind of dipped into, just a toe, not like the whole foot. I haven't like jumped in even to crotch level yet on these games, but like, uh, but Legend of Man, or sorry, Sword of Mana. Which is the Game Boy
uh,
Advance Secret of Mana game that they came out with. And also Mario and Luigi Superstars.
you need that first.
So and I said this last week, but you weren't here, and I feel like it's important that you know how I feel about this game.
Say it.
uh, and I don't want you to be mad.
I'm pissed.
And this also isn't necessarily a knock on the game either.
I'm pissed.
But so I'm
You haven't
priming you with
played it. You
this.
said you didn't play it yet, first of all.
I'm playing it. I've
Okay,
started it,
continue.
and I feel this way about all of the Paper Mario, Mario RPG type games, except for the
Go
first
on.
one. Is that they are baby's first RPG.
Yeah, they're not trying not to be, but you
Yeah.
can make them more advanced by like stacking your badges and shit and doing okay. I don't know.
Sure, yeah, and they're fun. Like I said, it's not necessarily a knock on them, but like it's hard. Like if I'm trying to scratch an RPG itch, uh, that's not the game I'm ever gonna go to. You know,
Mm,
if I want something more lighthearted and with clever writing and things like that that I can like leisurely get through, um, I think those are great games for that. Even Thousand Year Door, like there was never a single moment in that game where I felt challenged. Not a single moment. Um,
yeah, those games are
so
easier.
yeah. So I mean, and again, not a knock on the game, still a very good game. It's just like if you're looking for like, that just to scratch that RPG itch, like a good
Mm,
solid JRPG, like that ain't it.
mm.
So anyway,
Oh, that'd be
but
cool.
I'm
That'd
I'm
be
gonna
interesting.
continue playing them. I'm sure I'll
That
enjoy
would
it.
be interesting if they made Mario JRPG instead. Oh my god, they should just call it that too. Mario JRPG, and it'd be like a literal like open battlefield, and Mario can like run around in a 3D like battlefield per battle, but it's still like an RPG format. Just how like RPGs now, like to me, a JRPG is you encounter a battle and you can control each person in your party separately in like a 3D like battlefield more so these days. You can't necessarily
These days
control how.
more so, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
in my mind, classic JRPG is like Final Fantasy, right? Like that's or
I
like
still think
Dragon
they're
Quest.
not.
Like those
I
define
I
JRPGs.
would still say turn-based until you're
Yeah.
moving around the battlefield, though.
Yeah.
It's
I
still
mean,
like turn-based,
turn-based.
yeah.
Yeah, they're
But the
turn-based.
J just means Japanese, right? So it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
they're
that
all
is
JRPGs. So,
yeah.
but to me, like it's for some reason like Tales of Symphonia kind of did it really well.
Mhm.
That like the battlefield is really open. I don't know.
Yeah, I
They're
mean,
all so
there's a
fucking
lot
long.
like
They're so
the
long, though.
yeah, they are long. And also, I mean, RPG battle systems have evolved so much since we were
Yeah, they
kids.
have.
Like a ton. So yeah, I mean, I'm talking like era specific, like when those games were coming out, we were still playing generally, very turn-based RPGs,
Pokemon. Which
yeah,
has its
but
merits. I think that the best version of that, the two games that did it really good, Final Fantasy VII, and if you've ever played Child of Light, this game is really awesome. Ubisoft indie game that came out a while ago, and it's like all the lines are poetry and it's all hand drawn. It's like
oh
really
yeah,
cool.
that sounds cool.
Regardless, so but it's turn based, but I call it time based
Yeah.
combat, where instead of the turns being limited, it's literally time, and each like enemy and you have a speed, and everyone has a speed on the
That's
meter.
like Chrono
Basically,
Trigger.
it's like Chrono Trigger too, and Chrono Trigger is almost a JRPG in my opinion
It
because of
is
how it's laid out.
100% a
I
JRPG. It's
know. Well, yeah,
100% a
it's not
JRPG.
just the turn based; it has so many more elements going on to it. Also, so I get it. What are we defining? The word J?
I don't know.
I think it's
It's
whatever.
it's like a classic JRPG, yeah.
All
Uh
right, yeah.
yeah,
Okay, fine.
whatever.
He's got it. It's a
Anyway, they're good
QRPG.
games. My point is,
KRPG.
it's like if you're looking for a more in-depth RPG experience, is what. But one thing that I love about it is like being able to switch, but like the positioning of Mario and Luigi and use them in
Yeah,
different,
get ready. You're
for
gonna
different puzzles and things like that. And I think that's really fun. You know,
yeah,
um,
it's awesome. Get
so
ready. It's gonna be awesomer.
yeah, it's
That
cool.
game
It's
is pretty
cool.
great.
It's cool.
The
Cool.
writing is really the best part about those games. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's why I was like, if you want like a more lighthearted, kind of silly
Yeah.
experience.
You play Origami King?
I
Did you
have
play
not
that?
played that yet. No, you
I think
said
you
it's
would
really
like
good.
that.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's different. The combat is different enough that you might be interested, actually, I think. Now that I'm thinking
It
about
looked
it.
good. I watched you stream it. It did look good.
True, true, true. I do
Yeah.
want to speed run that again soon.
Let's do it. That'd be cool.
Be cool. Be
I'd be
cool.
down for that. Cool. Well,
Where are
that's
we?
you ready to do a review?
Let's do it.
Yep, yep, we can do it.
My Little
Let
Pony for the
me
DS.
switch
Oh
that
wait.
over
Hold on.
and My Little Pony on the DS, and we'll be good to go. Boom, we're there.
All right. Here we are, guys. I'm gonna be talking about. Do we have any audio or video or any of that
We
shit?
got
I thought
video
I.
going,
No, we
yeah.
got
I
video.
don't have
Who's video?
audio.
Some random guy.
So we did all what the hell is this dude's name? Diamond Long Plays is the video we're using.
Oh,
The
dope,
YouTube
dope,
channel.
dope.
So go check them out if you want to see this whole long play.
Oh,
Because we
nice.
didn't have captured video of
Oops.
your stuff. It
I did my best.
expired. Yeah, I mean
I
you
did my
did
best.
stream it, but it expired
I
before we
probably
were
should
able
have
to.
filmed the ending, but I was just like chilling and doing it, and it kind of just happened, and I was like, I guess I'm beating the game now.
Yeah.
So, yes, the game we're talking about is Yoshi's Crafted World, developed by Nintendo, released apparently on March 29, 2019. This bad boy was in the height of COVID, definitely overshadowed by Animal Crossing, I would say. Like, I didn't even know that this came out then. I thought it came out in 2020. Wait, no, this was the year before that. So this was like a totally fell through the cracks game.
Mhm.
This came out like a year before all that bullshit went
Yeah,
down,
right.
and
Yeah,
games
year before
games
the
weren't
pandy.
games weren't really in massive demand at the time. I feel like before that, because like now every game is under high scrutiny now that the internet is like in our brain because of like being stuck at home all the time and whatever.
Yeah.
But before that, it was pretty much if a game stood out, it stood out. And Yoshi games tend to not, although they were big. And Yoshi's Island and Story to an extent are huge games. Island is a huge game. It's like a really big Super Nintendo staple. But I don't know how well Yoshi translates over time, because to me, when I hear a Yoshi game coming out, I'm like, this is going to be great. It's like Mario, but we have a different style of play. It's more slow, puzzle like, and there is still some intense platforming, but there you're a different mechanical being than Mario, but it is still very much a Nintendo platformer. So that's what I expect when I expect a Yoshi game. And let's see. We pretty much don't disappoint on that front. We'll get into that in a sec. Let's see. When else? Played on the Switch. It's only available on the Switch. This game costs, I think it was like $45. It might be like $40 now or something plus tax.
It goes on
So it's
sale
pretty.
all the time,
It
but
goes on sale. Yeah.
typically Nintendo games maintain their value.
Yeah, Nintendo games maintain their value hard. Like, ask that to any Smash Bros. Or Zelda game ever. It's like insane. And it's just because Nintendo is, again, not on any other platform. So, like, you're going to only be able to get it. You know what I mean? It's like one of
Yeah.
those things. It's not like games are reprinted really frequently. Like a remake, sure. But that's not necessarily going to reduce the value of the previous game, because now that other cartridge is 20 years old. So it's more of a collector's at this point. Like, Nintendo does it like Disney, where like your box set is still going to be worth so much because the next one comes out on DVD. You know what I mean? So like it's not even the same like thing anymore. That being said, Nintendo's really good about reinventing themselves. So what did I like about this game? This is a Yoshi game. It's great. If you like Yoshi's story and Yoshi's Island, this is kind of a nice hybrid. It's definitely childlike. This game is not as hardcore as even Mario. Like, this was made for the abilities of 3 and 4 year old people to be able to beat it, while also being able to maintain the attention of 35+ year olds. You know what I mean? People that are Yoshi's Island fans. And as a Yoshi's Island fan, I played this and said, wow, to a lot of things that were referencing it in mechanics, in things that were in the game and stuff like that. So there are a lot of things that I feel like if even the last game you played was Yoshi's Island, or I mean, obviously if you didn't play one, this would be a good entry point because it is easy. But if Yoshi's Island was the only one you ever played, I think this would be a good way to segue back into the series. Let's see what else. I don't like talking about the didn't like that fast. Let's see the gameplay. So the gameplay was super interesting. If you can, there's 2 styles to this game, which is really unique. I had first tried to 100% it, and so I did all of the different types of styles. One is basically you play through the level straight up, and you can collect it. You can collect and do all the puzzles and whatever, and 100% the level if you want, which became tedious at a certain point.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, that's kind of in the what I didn't like is that as much as I loved collecting in Yoshi's Island, it's not the same. It's not just 5 flowers and 10 red coins in every level. Now you and being at full health, of course. It's now being at full health, 20 red coins and anywhere from 5 to 10 flowers per level. And then there are also hidden items in each level that you have to collect. And every time you collect one, you have to go back to give it to the guy in the main world, then go back and get another. It's like not just like collect them all at once type scenario. So you are designed to play these levels multiple times. And so that's a fun, like regular way to just kind of get through the game. But then there is kind of the hardcore platforming mode, which I really appreciated. I wish you could have just played the levels outright like this. But there's a flip side. When you beat the level for the first time, you can play it like in reverse, kind of from the end of the level to the beginning. And you collect this is a lot. You collect the 3 Poochies, like just like find them in the background and shoot them with an egg or whatever and collect them. And then get to the finish as fast as possible. So it's like your speed running version. And all you have to do is do the 3 checkpoints, basically the 3 Poochies, and then make it. So I appreciated that there was like a fast version of this game also for people that were more into the platforming. So the platforming is decent. If you're a Mario fan, you're going to feel a lot of that tightness. Like Nintendo is very good about platforming. It's like what they were born on.
Yeah, to me it felt a little dumbed down compared to
I
Mario.
agree. I'm not going
Yeah.
to say it felt exactly like Mario. It was definitely dumbed down compared to Mario. Mario is much more acrobatic and precise, and Yoshi's not as fast for sure. But when you're full throttle in the Poochie levels, I was like, some of it felt really precise as far as level trust, I like to call, which is where Nintendo designs a level for you to be able to go full throttle, all out, not stop at all. Like sometimes stop for like tricky parts and stuff, but like for the most part, Nintendo loves to, and a lot of platforming games do this, lets you just go as fast as possible. Like you'll go full throttle, you'll jump on an enemy, you'll land on him perfectly because you didn't stop and he just happened to be in this spot because of that. You know what I mean? And you land on this next thing perfectly because you were able to go at that momentum, and the level just kind of flows perfectly. And so Yoshi kind of has that. I noticed, at least when I was doing the Poochie levels, I would like run and I'd be like bouncing perfectly off of bad guys. And like if I didn't skip a beat and just trusted that the level would like flow, then it was a lot more. It was awesome, I thought. So
Right.
that's kind of like a thing Nintendo is good at. They know how to like optimize a level, basically. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they make it so that if you're playing as hardcore as possible, there is like a route for that, which is really sweet, I think. And
Absolutely.
there's a
Yeah.
slow chill route. Let's see. So let's see. What's that? I thought I had a thing.
Being attacked by something.
I thought I had a fly, yeah. I was like, no, this flies all over. The music and the art. Let's see. The art. The art was really good. Actually, kind of a lot of people probably knocked this game because it's not like real Yoshi. I don't know how to explain it. It's like felt like arts
Yeah.
and craft world Yoshi and shit. But the art style was really cool, and a lot of the cutscenes were really well done because of that. And honestly, some of Nintendo's best graphics that could hold up, I think, as far as like the models are concerned, just because of how they did it. I won't say dumbed down because Yoshi's story is literally the exact same thing, except it kind of looks more real worldy, but it's taken to the extreme in this game where everything is
Yeah.
literally arts and crafts. But we did kind of see that in Yoshi's story, so we
Yoshi's
shouldn't be
story's
too
got that kind of
surprised.
pastel thing going on.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
got pastel, but it is
But
literally like
it's
a book.
more,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And
Yoshi's story. Like
it's
you're in a
still more
cutout
in
book.
like a classic like Super
Yeah.
Mario style.
Like you are still Yoshi though, and all that. I will say, as far as the controls and the handling is concerned, though, you handle probably the best only next to Yoshi's Island as far as like Yoshi's actual like handling and tightness.
Right.
You are definitely faster in Yoshi's Island, but you handle pretty well in this game. The art I thought was pretty good, but again, like it's gonna hold up, but it's not necessarily like iconic Yoshi slash Mario
Right.
because you are still like craft and shit. The music, it's not my favorite, honestly. There's always like that main theme, and then they repeat it in every level for all the Yoshi games and stuff.
Mhm.
But in this one, it is much less subtle. So, like, you have your underground theme, you have your underwater theme, your space theme, all that. And it's usually the same song changed and repeated. And in Yoshi's story, they do this so fucking well that you don't even know until you're like in the middle and you hear like the or whatever, like the main theme like repeating there for a second. You're like, oh yeah, nice remix. I didn't even notice. And in this one, it's much less like that. And every fucking song is like the same fucking song, and they're not
Yeah.
even trying to hide it. It's just like a little tweak. And they also overuse them a lot. There's not a lot of variation in the music, which I thought was a little disappointing. It's not Nintendo's best work.
Yeah, I was gonna
As
say,
far
especially
as
for
yeah,
a Nintendo game,
yeah.
like that's something they usually nail on the head.
I think the music is good, but it's like watching 18 episodes of The Office straight, you're gonna fucking start to hate that theme song and like, or
Yeah.
whatever, like the
Yeah.
same shit. And you're just like, oh, I like would start a level and be like, please just don't be that song. And it would be that fucking song again. And I'm like, ah, dude, just like anything else. Like at least Mario has enough like tonal variation, but all of these songs, even the slight variations, were like not different enough for me. And Yoshi's Island was so vast and amazing. We had Koji Kondo and everything on that. And Yoshi's story, it had the trope of using the same song over and over again, but it did it in such a vast way that you didn't notice. This one kind of tried to do that, and it was not varied enough. So I will say sound design is the biggest hit probably on my review here tonight, but still was good. It like was not bad music,
Just not
but it's just,
necessarily the standard you're
yeah,
looking for.
not
Yeah.
the standard I'm looking for, and the utility of it was not well executed, fully at least. Um, how long did the game take me? I attempted to 100% it at first and then realized that was a squandered effort because of it having way too much collecting. And after you beat the game, there's even more collecting and secret levels and all that, which I thought was great. But literally, you can beat this game in 3 hours, probably less. I bet the speed run for this is like an hour or something. It is so fast. And this should be a topic actually that I'm about to say. This is kind of dipping again into like what I didn't like about the game before I go full throttle into it, is a game that can be beaten in an hour and a half, casually running through it. And like, I'm not even like speed running through it at that point. Like, I can just walk through the game and beat it in like 3 hours, let's say. And I'm just like, that was a good game. I enjoyed it. I didn't get everything, but I enjoyed it. And then extra content and 100%ing it, even if you play every level, that's 3 hours, right? 4 hours maybe. Now you're 100%ing the game. This is probably a 65-hour, 70-hour game to 100%. There is so much, and you have to replay the levels so much. And it's like, you're giving us a 4-hour game that's really like 80 hours. Should I be grateful or should I be annoyed that there isn't more at its core? I want this to be a 20-hour game that turns into a 40-hour game instead of a 3-hour game that turns into a 60-hour game. I'm like, the gap here is crazy, in my opinion. Some levels had so much daunting stuff to unlock. Like each level with the Poochie side and the front side of collecting and the secret items, like 20 flowers. You need flowers were the thing to collect. 20 flowers per each level. And there's like 2 or 3 levels per area, and there's like 20 areas. I'm like, okay, I love the amount of levels, but I don't like that you're inundating us with like really like redundant collectathons. And like it
Right.
wasn't like that in the original, especially Yoshi's story had like no collecting. It was the
Right.
fruit
Yeah, it was
only.
pretty
I was like,
straightforward.
it's
Yeah.
really straightforward. And Yoshi's Island, like I said earlier, you had those 3 things to collect: full health, 10 red coins, 5 flowers in each level. And literally this one is full health, which you have twice as much health now. And it's much harder to come by, even though you can get shields, which look stupid on Yoshi. He literally like wears like a sack of potatoes or some shit. like, and
He's
then
wearing a
20
train in
red
this
coins.
video.
Yeah, and then 20 red coins, which is twice as many, which is horrible. And then any number again from 5 to I've seen 10 flowers in each level, which is again potentially twice as many. So it's like, why? And then the Poochie sides, which is 4 per level. And I'm like, why are you doing this to us? And then secrets as well. So I'm like, it's quite enough. Like with Mario, you should be able to unlock all the levels. Okay, and Donkey Kong does this really well. This is the one actually. You can beat there's usually 40 levels in a Donkey Kong game and then secret levels. You beat all 40 levels and you feel really accomplished. And then you get like a few more levels. And then when you like finally piece by piece, like absorb and beat all of the game, then you unlock like a secret world or something like that. And then you get to like revel in you having unlocked you know what I mean? But like to make it so sparse and all over the place, it just doesn't feel like I already unlocked the secret levels. I don't know why I got to collect all the flowers now. I'm
Right.
like, this is so stupid. So that was that was all over the place for me too. So yeah, that goes all into how long did it take me? Like literally this game, I think is too short as far as like just like casual play is concerned. If you're a collectionist or a completionist, this is right up your alley. The game difficult? 1 out of 10. This is literally one of the easiest
Yeah.
games I've ever played. It is absolutely not hard through any of it. I loved the bosses, and I thought the level design was great in a lot of it. Definitely Nintendo's level design and boss factor. But I literally came out with most of my health in the final boss. And then the secret levels were like, you could run through them really quick. So I was like, man, this is nothing compared to Donkey Kong. This is like
Right.
1 out of Donkey Kong being 10, like for Nintendo standards. So it's definitely a light platformer, and you can't be mad at that. People need that also.
Sure.
And then would I play a sequel? Probably. I think I enjoyed it enough. And then what else did I not like about the game, real quick, before we get into everything else? It was really just that collecting and that bullshit. They just like didn't tighten it up. The music, and it wasn't co-op, which is like
It
crazy
is
to me.
co-op.
I feel like this could. It is.
Yeah,
Oh,
this is
never mind.
100%
Bravo.
co-op. Yeah, I
Oh, it's
play this with
co-op.
my wife co-op. Yeah.
Well, so now that it's co-op, I'm glad, and I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Maybe did I mean online co-op? It's not online co-op though, is it?
It may not be online co-op. I don't know about that.
Oh,
It's
see, that would be gold.
100% local co-op for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like a real thing.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's co-op. That's great.
I
Play with your
bought this
friends.
game to play with my wife because she's not much of a gamer, but
Hmm.
she loves Yoshi and you
That's a
know.
null point for me. Okay, so I'm gonna erase that out of my mind. The time, like that's really it. But what I did like about this game, just to reiterate, it is a really smooth, fun platformer. If you're a Mario fan, it's kind of like a why not. Yoshi's really charming. The story is cute, and again, the whole game is very charming, and I think well put together. I think the
Mhm.
cutscenes and the animation looks really good. And if you don't play it like religiously, like I did, and just like beat it thoroughly, which I kind of regret now. I wish I had played it a little more casually. Then
Mhm.
the music won't really bother you that much
Right.
because, like, I was trying to like play the same level a few times to collect shit, and that's probably also why the music kind of irritated me. That being
Right.
said, it still is a thing, but so yeah, pretty fun game. Let's see, overall impression and rating. So let's see. I would probably give this. A 7.8, I think.
That
And I think
that
that's
seems high to
pretty.
me.
That seems high, yeah. And
especially
I thought
considering all
about
your criticisms.
I thought, yeah, I think maybe it might be closer to a 7.5 or 6.
Mm.
But I feel like 7.8 because the criticisms stand, but the core gameplay is super fun.
Mhm.
And the gameplay loop of just like going and platforming through the levels and just like shooting random shit with eggs and stuff like that is super fun.
Sure.
And the levels are like intuitively designed and creative enough that like when you go to the spooky world, like the shy guys come out of the ground like zombies, and I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
everything's like tweaked just enough in a charming way that doesn't feel like I'm getting rehashed enemies and bullshit. And
Mhm.
like the only thing that was really rehashed was the music. So I would say the positives definitely outweigh the negatives on this game. I think 7.6 is
Seven
pretty
six.
good.
Locking it
Seven
in at
six.
seven
Let's
six.
lock it in. Yeah, that's probably one of my lowest Nintendo ratings yet. But again, that is a pretty good score, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's
If
a
you're a
really good score.
if you're a hardcore like me who normally consumes Donkey Kong and Cuphead and shit like that, this is definitely going to be a 7.6 for you. If you are a 3-year-old or never played a platformer before and really want to get into it, or love collectathons and you love Mario and Yoshi in every way, then this might be a 10 for you, honestly. This game, like if you're a hardcore Yoshi's Island fan and you like love every iteration of Yoshi that has come out so far, then I think you will love this game a lot.
Yeah.
So, not for everyone, definitely for a lot of people. And I'd say it's definitely worth playing. And there is a demo in the eShop as well. And the
Mhm.
first level is pretty fun. That's why I bought it, because the first level is pretty fun.
Yeah.
The game is not necessarily worth buying at full price, but it's always on sale, like Paul said. I'd
Yeah.
say it's worth it at like $30. I think for like it's pretty damn fun for a 20 or $30 game, I would
Mhm.
say. But at like $40 to $50, I maybe, I probably got my money's worth at least for the review sake. But
I would
yeah,
also another caveat to all this that I would say, like, if this is something, if it's a game that you're like, let's say you have kids, or like in my case, my
yeah,
wife likes Yoshi, but she's not really a gamer. Like, this game is actually kind of ideal for that, because it's not like
exactly.
it's not so challenging that like someone who's not a gamer or someone who's like a young person, a kid, would get like very frustrated with it.
Exactly.
Um, it's very charming, and you can play it co-op, so like, you
That's
can
huge.
help them through that. And again, I think it's just locally co-op, but yeah, I mean I think
Yeah.
that makes a difference. So,
I
um,
will go as far as to say this is even more user friendly of a game than Pokemon Snap. This is like the most user friendly game Nintendo has ever made, I think. It's
yeah.
like so fucking easy to get into, and
Mhm.
like you don't barely have like it makes actually ingenious use of the controller, whereas the most common complaint I've had with people first learning how to play video games is the controller is difficult. And this is a real thing in adults and everything.
Yeah.
I tried to teach people how to play, and they're like, I just don't understand how the controller is fucking me up. So 3D games are really difficult for people that have that issue.
Mhm.
Platformers are really ideal. That's why I think Link's Awakening is the best
Yeah.
for Zelda, also because it is kind of, but because of this, it kind of lets you train that by like you hold a button and then you get to move your cursor all around. So it's
Mhm.
really good for eye hand coordination and like kind of training your gamer brain. You
Mhm.
move the cursor to shoot the egg, and it kind of goes in the back and foreground as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah.
So I think all of that is really cool. And like, if you're a beginning gamer, that would easily train you into like you learning how to be like kind of more, what's the
Yeah.
word? Like, yeah,
Dexterous.
that's the word, exactly. Like dexterous with a controller.
Yeah.
Because for me, I have really good eye hand coordination in real life, and it's because of gaming. I'm
Right.
almost
Right.
certain, like it has to be. But it's cool that that's what I can attribute it to. I'm pretty sure, like I can like move my hands and know that what is going to happen with my eyes. Like that's what gaming basically teaches you. So
Yeah.
anyway, great game. Play it.
There you go. That's the review.
Nintendo does it again.
They did it again with a solid 7.6. All right, let's
Yeah.
switch back to the main thing.
Yes.
So we have kind of two topics tonight. But I felt like they were in a sense related. So I wanted to combine them. The first one being um game stores, like
Mm.
GameStop, or places like that, video game stores, like what's the fate of those? Like, are they
What's the
going
fate of the
away?
pawn shop,
Are they,
basically?
what could we do to keep them going? Or is everything going to be online, so on and so forth? And then the second
Yeah.
topic was, how do you combat scalping in video games? And by scalping, we
Yes.
mean like people buying all these pre-sales and then selling them at insane prices. The reason I, just to get straight to the point for me, and we can break each topic down individually, and whatever, but like for me, the reason I think that they're related is because I think the best way to combat
Oh,
scalping
they're
is
related.
to have in-store
Yes.
purchasing become
Exactly.
more of a thing again. I mean,
Yes.
especially I think we never really noticed it as bad, or it just got really bad, when the pandy hit, because everything was online releases, right? They weren't doing in-store releases at a lot of places. Um, because you couldn't go to the stores, everything was
Yeah.
locked down. And that caused a lot of problems with scalpers grabbing up everything, and
People creating bots, like,
right,
literally because of COVID, these bots now exist. Anyone can do it. Like,
right. So if you go back to a model where you have to go to a store and get in line and buy what's
yeah.
in stock there, or pick up your
Yeah.
pre-order there, that certainly circumvents the scalp. I mean, there's still going to be scalpers. There's still going to be people who buy them in
Mhm.
store and then do the same thing, but it's
But
going to cut
guess who
down
can
on that a
now get
lot.
the game?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to give more people an
Everyone.
opportunity to go purchase those things, you
And
know?
I don't see why this isn't a thing, because like literally me and Paul and all of our peers know this to be law, that you would stay outside of a fucking GameStop till midnight
Mhm.
sometimes. I had pizza parties in GameStops. There was like raffles. I've been to so many
Sure,
different
yeah.
types of
Midnight
GameStop events,
releases, yeah.
EB games and shit like that. And you would fucking get your game at midnight, or sometimes Nintendo would do like 8 or whatever,
Mhm.
because they were like their crowd was younger. But I literally picked up Majora's Mask on the 3DS and my Majora fucking pre-order mask that's on my wall right now at midnight at a GameStop. And there was a line of people, and they would be like, Section 3, call your name. Okay, now what does this do? This allows me to get my product.
Right.
I went to GameStop today and tried to pre-order, we talked about this,
Mhm.
the Steel Notebook or the Steel Book for Metroid Dread, because I knew this was going to be heavily sought after. The
Right.
lady was like, that went day one of the announcement of the game.
Right.
There was a pre-order right then and there, and it was gone within moments. I
Right.
was like,
Because it was all
why is
grabbed up
that
online,
fair?
yeah.
Why is
And
that
a
fair
lot of
compared
there
to just
wasn't even a
standing in a
lot of
line?
like announcement, or there wasn't like
I
any
didn't know at
clear-cut
all.
time that when those pre-orders went live,
Yeah,
right?
at
So like
all.
when we got Metroid Prime announced, or sorry, Metroid Dread announced,
I wish
like
Metro Prime.
right, sure.
So
But
bad.
like
It's
there wasn't
addictive.
like there wasn't a like, hey, pre-orders go on sale right now, or at 10 o'clock, or at whatever. There wasn't any kind of clear-cut time when retailers or online outlets were going to put that out there. And so like these people who just have these bots set up, just you know,
I'll take 10.
push the button,
Yeah.
there you go. All the
And
pre-orders are gone in
my
minutes.
GameStop. So here's another example. The same thing happened with the Zelda Game and Watch. We were talking about this too. My GameStop had 4 available pre-orders. They're only allowing 4 people to pre-order,
I was
but they
able to
said
get it
they're.
on Amazon.
Oh, were you? Oh, see, but so there's 4, right? And they all got taken immediately, right? And
Mhm.
so this store isn't even supplying, like, some of these stores are only getting 4 or 5
Mhm.
of these items total. And
Yeah.
we're still having bots buy all of them. So now we're creating an issue where she said they all got bought by the online store.
Yeah.
So that's great. Now we're
Exactly.
creating an issue where you can't physically have an advantage. Now there's no way for an average person to even get the product they want.
Right.
That's like it's one thing to create a premium product and say you have to pay more for it, but then to make it unavailable to the public is insane. You should be able to show up that night, be like, I'm here for the premium version. You have 100 of them, I know, because you're GameStop. I'll take my copy, and then they're
Right.
fucking going to sell the rest throughout the year. I
Yeah.
see no reason to make things so scarce. And people have told me, like, things aren't as widely available because of COVID.
Right.
Resources are limited and all that. But I doubt you make 100 copies of the Steel Book. You don't think they're going to sell?
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? You really
Yeah.
think making it scarce is gonna make people
Yeah.
happier? Like that just doesn't
Another
make
thing
sense.
about like Metroid in general, like Metroid has not historically been a high selling Nintendo game.
It's a pretty
Um
underrated franchise.
it's a very underrated franchise. I love Metroid and I personally think it should be,
If you
one of
love
their
it, you love
most,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But historically it hasn't sold very well, And to
Mhm.
see a game after, 15 years since the last 2D Metroid came out, um and to see that like sell out day 1 is the most highly sold, Metroid
It's
game
wild.
ever, right? And like I
It
just
is.
don't think the hype is there. I mean, there's an entire generation of gamers that have never played a Metroid game, and you're telling me they're buying up all these games? I don't think so. What I think's
Yeah.
happening is scalpers have bought up all these games, and that's
Yeah.
why it looks like it's so high selling. But those are gonna sit in people's basements,
That's the
like
other
waiting for
thing.
people to sell.
This is the other thing. The metrics are fucked because now not only are scalpers negatively impacting the consumer base who would
Mhm,
literally you're a scalper selling me this. I get it no matter what, right?
mhm,
Okay, but you also have 10 more in your basement instead of in the store. So when
mhm.
I go to the store, I cannot get that product no matter what because it's in your fucking basement. So unless I have access to a scalper who's going to charge me twice as much,
Right.
then I'm not going to get it. But guess what? The metrics still say that 10 units were sold. Let's say 10 units, and they're all in this guy's basement. It
Mhm.
still says 10 units are sold. Nintendo says, yes, we did it. We sold out, guys. This is a hit selling game. We sold every single copy of this
Yeah.
steel book or the special edition copy. Obviously, they don't sell it of regular versions because they're print to order. But
Mhm.
anything like that, we sold all of them. And Nintendo pats himself on the back and says, we don't need to print a massive amount of that kind of shit because the special edition things will sell. We can always give away limited quantities of things because they'll
Mhm.
sell. We can do whatever we want. And it ultimately hurts the regular consumer massively because now
Mhm.
they are forced to buy from a scalper. I looked on eBay. The cheapest one I found was 120 pre-tax. That's
That's
including shipping.
bananas.
That's
Yeah.
bananas. 99 and then 20 shipping pre-tax. And I'm like, this is already a $90 game. This
Yeah.
shit used to be free, by the way. You used to be able to pre-order something and get a whole fucking game, like for
Yeah.
the same price. Like
Yeah.
I got Master Quest, the pre-order bundle. Zelda's notorious for that. And I'm
Yeah.
loving these art books, but I don't want to have to buy everything on the secondhand market. Nintendo or everyone either needs to step up and create enough demand
Mhm.
that they're willing to take a bite if they don't sell it all. I know Sony is going to have the biggest issue with that. They're not going to want to print over demand because then they're not going to be able to, they're going to sit with them in their basement. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And they
Yeah.
don't want that because they're at cost basically.
Right.
But the other option is we fix it and we prevent scalping by allowing a certain number to be bought online and allowing forcing pre-orders to be in store except under extenuating circumstances like you're in a wheelchair or some shit and
Yeah.
like do you need to be able to wait in line again? It's fair to the consumer. There's too much just not consumerism anymore. Like one person buying 100 copies of a game does not equal the game doing well, and it's just like shitty for people trying to buy it on the secondary market. Then
Dude, I 100% agree with you. So then what do we do, right? So like
exactly. Then what do we do?
yeah, how do we fix that? You know? Is there a way to, the other part of this question was like, are game stores going to go away, or like how do we save
Mm.
game stores? So
And that might be the answer. It's like allowing game stores to be on the ground level
exactly.
of releases. And
Mhm.
like you need to go through these operations. I like it. I like doing that anyway. I still
Me
prefer
too.
physical copies. I like pre-order bonuses. Yeah. All that shit. You can even get it for cheaper at Walmart. Like, so like go to Walmart even and get your
Mhm.
game on launch day or whatever. Like, there's no downfall to any of that.
Mhm.
Who doesn't like a physical copy except for the tree huggers? And it's like, whatever. I don't know what to tell you. I'm gonna
Yeah.
die with this. Put it in my casket, bro. So does the
You also
worms
have
don't
to
get
consider, and
it.
we've mentioned this before, but like you don't actually own a non-physical copy of a game. You
Exactly.
can pay for a non-physical copy of a game, but there's nothing that makes that game yours.
Mhm,
You're
mhm.
basically leasing it from
Yeah.
whatever, I think you have a better chance of being able to hang on to that game with, companies like Nintendo, where it's like their first party stuff, on your Nintendo system. But like when it boils down to it, if like there's been plenty of games in the past that like people have completely lost access to because of certain like trademarks or whatever that have expired, and they can no longer put that game out.
Yeah.
So if you didn't have a physical version of it and it gets deleted from your whatever, like from your hard drive on whatever console you have it on, or even on PC, you know you're not going to be able to download that
Not
again.
gonna be able to get it.
So
Or if for some reason it's like on the cloud, or like you're using Game Pass, or any number of
Mhm.
things where it's not physically even downloaded fully, or like you're saying borrowing the game.
yeah.
Now you have two consoles later. Your previous console is no longer being supported. Your eShop, all that shit is
Mhm.
gone. Like, so you know what I mean? That's what I'm worried about with the Super Nintendo and the N64 upcoming store and all
Yeah.
that shit that I'm super excited about. Is like literally one time I was like, should I get rid of these games? And someone was like, well, what if the internet never works again? I was
Right.
like, you're right. I'm not getting rid of my Super Nintendo, because if for some reason the Switch is no longer supported, then it's not a Super Nintendo anymore. And the only thing that is a Super Nintendo. So
Not
like
to mention,
Nintendo,
there's no guarantee that your games that you own are going to end up on that, Super Nintendo platform on the Switch.
exactly, which Chrono Trigger, Earthbound, a few didn't. Mario RPG.
Right.
Yeah, why didn't they
Yeah,
get on there?
exactly. There's no reason for those games not to be necessarily.
Their
I
money.
mean,
That's stupid.
yeah,
That's
they got to pay
Nintendo.
for
That's like
licensing, but
Nintendo.
Nintendo was like, Mr. Moneybags. Like they can
It's
pay for the
almost,
licensing
I
fees.
hate to say it, it's
The
almost,
fact that
not to like divert us a little, but it's almost like Nintendo acknowledging the secondary market of resells
yeah.
and purposefully not getting these games are all over $100 to $200 each.
Mhm.
Those three games we just mentioned,
Yeah.
and all of the games in the Nintendo store are not. The most
Mhm.
expensive game in there is Yoshi's Island, is like $50 now,
Right.
and it's like, you know what I mean. So like, I hate to think Nintendo wants us to go to the secondary market to buy these cartridges, but
And we
might
know
be.
it's not an issue with purchasing licensing because one of the consoles they're
No.
bringing to the Switch Online is fucking Sega.
Yeah, and they own Mario
They don't own
RPG,
any of that.
so
They're paying for all of that.
Mario
Yeah.
RPG is solely Nintendo. So that's
Right.
like the other two I'm unsure about, but because Square Enix and all that.
Sure.
But Nintendo has no reason not to drop Mario RPG except for that it's super valuable and sought after. Which is like, maybe they're planning on some crazy remakes on these games. That'd be so amazing.
Sure, but again, you can't just bank on that. So it's always good to
Oh,
hang on to your physical media.
yeah. Can we talk about the N64 store real quick, or did you guys talk about it last week?
We
God,
so
it's
we
so
went
good.
we did like a brief recap of the entire
Oh, amazing.
Switch Direct, but yeah, let's talk about it.
Pretty amazing. That's like kind of a way Nintendo is preventing us from, like, we don't have to go hawk games or like go online fully. Is they're allowing us access for free or a price to these awesome games. I mean,
So it's definitely not for free because it's even
or
going to
a
be
price.
more expensive
Yeah.
than
It's
the
which is
the current Switch
$20 a
Online.
year, which is like nothing,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah, yeah,
Which
yeah.
Game Pass is $10 a month. So it's like, oof.
Mhm, mhm.
And I'd rather have Banjo Kazooie. Actually, that's also in Game Pass now that I think about it.
Yeah. Though
Uh,
Banjo Kazooie is coming to the
I know
Nintendo
that's what I'm saying.
64
Yeah.
online. I mean, and that's also
Yeah.
very telling, right? Because
I agree.
technically
I thought
Microsoft
this
owns
too.
that,
Yeah.
right?
Microsoft owns Rare
So
property right now, aside from Nintendo IPs. And
yeah,
so I was shocked. You should have seen my reaction when I saw Banjo scroll by. I was freaking out.
yeah,
That literally means there's possible Game Pass coming to Nintendo. I don't see why that's not the thing we get. It just makes so much sense to just roll out Game Pass, not even share IPs, but literally just like, you can have Game Pass.
yeah,
And then maybe Xbox eventually. I don't even know how it would work. I don't see Nintendo sharing
yeah.
IPs anytime
Well,
soon. I see
I
it
don't
more being
see
mutual.
Microsoft, putting. Well, actually, I could see them
Maybe
putting
third
exclusives
parties.
on there, but I couldn't see it in
Yeah, I
reverse.
can see like Halo and shit on the Switch. I don't see
Yeah,
why not.
yeah.
Like, that all seems super plausible. We have Doom and stuff now, which is all Nintendo original, but now it's like also spread that
I
when I
mean,
see
Nintendo was
Doom,
never. I mean,
Doom.
Doom was never Nintendo original.
What's Super Nintendo Doom? Doom for the
Yeah,
Super
that was
Nintendo?
a port though. That was a port. It was
Well,
originally
okay.
on
It was
PC. It's id
what was the
Software, which is owned by
I thought
by
it was a PC game, yeah.
fucking whatchamacallem, that
Hmm.
Bethesda, which just got bought by
Ah, yes.
Microsoft. So that's all Microsoft property
Bethesda can
too.
do one good thing. No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. Okay, fair enough. But nonetheless, Nintendo, one of the first consoles to have Doom on it, is what I meant. I
Yeah, I
remember
mean,
it on
it
the
was
Super
the
Nintendo.
first like that was the first
Yeah,
like game console to have it. But yeah, it was a
yeah.
PC game. That was a port.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot where I was going with all that. But yeah, Nintendo, I don't see any issue why. Okay, so that's like kind of a remedy to that also. So you don't have to go like to GameStop as frequently with the the online stores there, and like say there is some kind of highly sought after version, if you give it away digitally, that's not so lame. You're still able to play all these games like, in their like
Yeah.
warehouse basically. And that's kind of nice. That prevents people from going crazy over cartridges, which is a thing. COVID literally made games valuable.
Mhm.
Everything that was collectible or was a hobby, and especially gaming because you have nothing to fucking do and everyone's on lockdown, went through the
Yeah.
roof.
Yeah.
Like, dude, stats went crazy. Like Super Mario 64 even is like a $60 game again. And
Mhm.
that was like a $10 game like before COVID. Like anyone can get this. Now, even games that were lowly and like super overcopied
Mhm.
are now super, yeah, valuable.
Yeah.
And I
I
forgot what
think
I was
that
going
I
with
mean the
this.
scalping thing goes even beyond like just games, right? Like it
Yeah,
extends to game consoles, it extends to video cards. Now part of that is because there's currently a crisis with or a shortage of
microchips.
microchips, yeah. So yeah, it's like the silicon semiconductors or whatever. Um that I mean, that's something that only time's gonna fix, right? And so,
Exactly. Once we
but
have more workers.
all these
Yeah.
online releases are still, you know, adding to that problem of scalping. And I think that brick and mortar releases would help mitigate that. There are some online stores that do like verification stuff, like not a robot kind of shit. Um, but there's way more that don't, so you still
Yeah.
end up with bots picking up all that shit. So I really think that the only way to really push, get stuff out of the hands of scalpers is to push for more in-person releases, and I just don't see that happening anytime soon, unfortunately.
Yeah. Until enough people like pretty much there's no way. Yeah, because no one cares. Because the sales are
Except
still
us
there.
that are
That's
suffering now.
I
Yeah.
know. This is where it comes
Uh,
back around to my point earlier, which was like their sales aren't suffering, so they don't even like understand the plight of the consumer. They're like, I don't know what to tell you. You guys all bought the game. It like literally sold record numbers. Why are you telling me you didn't even get it?
yeah.
Like, why are you saying you
Yeah.
didn't play the game when? Why are you saying you don't have a PS5 when every PS5 sold out? I don't know what to tell you. We're doing great over here at PS5 headquarters, bro.
Right,
We love
exactly.
that every single PS5 sold out, but no one has one.
Right.
Like,
I do.
what
Yeah.
the fuck? I know one. I know. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, they
Um,
those are getting easier to find, to be fair, and like
well,
the
because they're being held
prices that
on to now.
scalpers
Yeah,
are
they're
selling them
dipping.
for is coming down because they're not able to sell them.
I want to be
But
able to walk
still,
into a
I mean,
store
it's
and
it's
fucking.
been a year since the thing released almost.
That's dumb. That's crazy that it's
So
been almost a year. That's like really fucked up. You got to admit that it's
yeah.
this sparse still. Even the Switch had like
Hmm.
they pumped it back out when COVID hit, and it was like impossible to find anything. I got the last copy of Animal Crossing in Target, and they were like, "We're out of Switches and Animal Crossing, and there's no more games left in the
Yeah.
store." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I literally did get the last copy of that shit. And that was the thing. But and Nintendo would reflourish it back out. Like they
Yeah.
wanted people to
I
still
got
have it
mine
and buy it. We got
through
it at Walmart
Yeah.
even.
I got mine through it was probably about 3 or 4 months after the Switch released, and I got it through GameStop's online thing. They were doing
Oh,
bundles. But again, even then, like, because you could go to stores and buy them, for the most part, like scalpers weren't thinking to go buy up all these bundles. I mean, now they're
mm,
doing the same thing, but like the scalpers are buying up all those bundles.
yeah.
So like we've got that problem. We mentioned Metroid Dread earlier. I think that is just the most freaking telling thing ever. Just if you look at the history of Metroid sales, You know, the fact that that's completely
Yeah.
sold out
This
everywhere.
game would not be sold out. I
Yeah.
hate to say it, if it wasn't for there's no way, and I'm not saying anything bad about this game at
Right.
all.
Me neither. I'm super excited
Yeah.
about it.
I'm super excited and did pre-order this game.
Mhm.
Trust me. But
Me
I
too.
am one human statistic, and literally, there's no way to know how good this game actually did. There's no way to ever know how good any fucking product did ever again. There are literally even shows and concerts and shit now. The prices are $200 a ticket, and everything's so expensive now because of COVID.
Mhm.
And some guy buys 100 tickets and
Yeah.
sells them for 300
Oh,
each.
dude.
Then, and you know what I mean. So like, you're not even going to anything unless you're paying on the secondary
You know
market. And then it's like,
have you seen the show Letterkenny?
oh yeah, I love that show.
Yeah, it's a great
That
show,
show is
right?
amazing.
So they're doing
Oh
a
yeah.
live show in town next fucking year, right?
Mm,
And my wife, she is a
homecoming.
huge fan. She really wanted to go see that, right? So she got online the second like everything got on, was going on sale. Like she was
Yeah.
there. Let's say it goes for sale at 10 a.m. She was there at 9:59, ready to click buy. Right, sold out immediately. Immediately,
Sold out. A comedy
immediately.
show
A comedy show in freaking Kansas City. Like,
in Kansas City.
yeah,
I mean, that's a pretty
like
big city, but still.
sure, but still, like, I can't imagine that like there's that many people that are waiting
No.
to just buy them up immediately. Like that has to be bots. Like it was sold out so fast, like you couldn't even click, purchase and like go to cart. You
And
know what I mean? Like it was that fast.
this leads to not only this ruining so many industries that function in that way, and literally trying to take something that is required because COVID doesn't allow you to leave your house. We get that. Whatever. I'll still fucking wait in line, but not everyone feels that way, and
Sure.
turning it into a negative because people are now utilizing the internet. But now it's a fucking profession, bro.
Hmm.
Like literally, you can see other people doing that and be like, interesting. When's the next Nike drop? Like, you
Oh,
know what I mean?
I know people who are doing it and make money
You
off of
can
it.
do it. You
I
can do
know
it.
people who
Even
have
if you just buy
purchased
like 10 of
bots.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can
You can
just you
buy
don't
bots.
even have
Yeah.
to, yeah, you don't even have to program your own bot anymore. You can
Yeah.
purchase a bot that will go onto these websites and buy up these stocks for you. And then you can then go and do your reselling at your leisure on eBay or whatever, you know.
I'm sure it's the same with actual stocks too, and all sorts of like stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean there
Instant
are
buying
like,
on everything. Oh yeah, there's buys on everything you can do like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
you can do
forgot
like
about that.
robo, what do they call it? Robo advisors or whatever for like the
I'm thinking
actual
it's
stock
all
market.
like
Yeah.
what kind of thinking are people actually doing with their brains anymore? And it's like just like people will buy anything and we're just banking on that, like literally. But some things are sure things,
Yeah.
like games. Like, are you fucking kidding?
Yeah.
Like Mario game comes out and you're like, I'll buy all of them
Yeah.
because you're gonna fucking buy it, you dumbass. Like, of course I'm gonna buy it. I'll give you $300 for that Mario game. It's the last one in the world.
So what? How do we conclude this? Like,
We're
are
fucked.
brick and mortar stores just doomed? Is it just going to be like the only place you can buy games in person is Target and Walmart because GameStop's gone out of business, and or like you have to buy everything else online? Is that the way? It's all going the
I
way of
think
the
we'll be
buffalo.
lucky if we keep Target and Walmart even in that regard, because like that's probably not going anywhere, but like that's gonna get figured out
Yeah.
once, you know what I mean? If there's no GameStop and there's no way to pre-order or anything like that, then someone's gonna to nip the fucking Walmart next, and they're gonna buy every single copy of like what just watch. It's gonna be the same thing, physical stuff. Because you can call in a store and be like, I'm gonna place this order ahead of time, I think.
Mhm.
Can't you like do that on the website? Like go to your store, find the
Yeah,
product
something like,
online,
yeah, you can.
take it out of the
But
store without being there.
yeah,
It's just
yeah,
gonna keep so we're gonna lose GameStop because no one goes to them. And they're literally a pawn shop. So they don't make any money at all. You're giving them Uncharted 3 and they're getting 1 cent. And they're like, what am I going to do with an Uncharted 3? I can't feed my kids with this. Our store isn't going to stay open because you traded in Uncharted 3. What are you fucking crazy? These are plastic boxes, bro. These aren't going to keep the doors open.
oh
Like,
my god,
their money is in new games.
yeah,
If the secondary market buys every new game, guess where you're going to get your new games from now on, bro? Because Walmart's empty. I don't have to tell you. This is it. This is like
Amazon,
they
yeah.
need to Amazon, which is close to secondary at this point.
Mhm.
It's like pretty
Well, it
much
is. I mean, like if you look at the like that's happening right now with game consoles, right? People
Mm,
are selling used PS5s on
so crazy.
Amazon as like secondary sellers for higher than retail price.
Absolutely
Yeah,
fucked.
it's crazy. So yeah, I don't know. I like the internet's great and all, but I feel like it's really ruined that aspect of gaming. And the only way is to really push and support for brick and mortar stores. And
Yeah.
hopefully, distributors will, put out enough product to those stores.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem is it's just so convenient to buy everything online now, you know.
The only stores I can see surviving, and so like, your local game store, the LGS, like, you know what I mean? The everyone talks about this thing. The local game store is a legend, and very few places even have these things left. But
Right.
here's the issue: is there's nothing there that you can possibly buy for cheaper than you can buy it online. At very best, you can buy it for at cost. I got very lucky. The person who got my Chrono Trigger got it for like 150, and it immediately went up to like $200. And I was like,
Mhm.
that's rare that you can buy something in person at one of those stores. And like, I usually check my phone, and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna literally get this one. But
Right.
at the same time, you're getting authentic products by shopping at your local game store. So I think if local game store owners buy things and really MSRP it and like really just try and make a name for themselves and like feed the consumers as opposed to just trying to make money off of vintage products, then we could see a rise in those game stores like turning merchandise a lot faster because no one's gonna like go to every fucking random ass game store and buy every single random ass game and then resell.
Mhm.
Like that's a lot of work compared to pressing a button and buying 20 copies of Metroid Dread. Like,
Right.
it's so I think if those game stores are willing to like kind of be like, we're going to buy Metroid Dread and sell it for the MSRP. You can still buy it for $60 at our store. Like, it's not a big deal. We're not going to just like gouge you just because we are
Yeah.
like a secondhand store. Then we could see that kind of rise. Stores like GameStop, I don't know how they're going to stay alive though. So like the only way to fight it is really like for other game stores to literally
Yeah.
learn how to become more efficient,
You
which is
know,
like
I
we're fucked.
don't think it's
We're
gonna
we're
happen.
dead. We're dead.
I
Yeah,
think
that's what I'm
I think
saying.
they're going the way of the buffalo,
I
unfortunately.
think the buffalo, which is not quite extinct yet, is it?
No, it's just a phrase. There's plenty of buffalo. There's more
Oh,
buffalo now than there was, at
when
the
that phrase
turn of the
came about.
century. Yeah. So
Interesting.
anyway, that's
Anyway, but yeah,
unfortunate, but scalpers can get fucked. Just
they
that's
can
the
get
other
fun.
thing. Like there's two ways you can combat it, right? As a consumer, don't buy scalped products because if
Don't.
they can't sell it, they're operating at a loss. So they're going to stop doing that. Okay.
Yeah,
And then try and support your brick and mortar stores.
yeah.
That's what you could do as a consumer.
Yeah. I don't
Everything
see
else
why
is
you wouldn't because then you know you're getting a sure product.
right.
Like for me, I pick it up from GameStop and hold it in my hands and pre-order it and because I know I'm getting that product for
Yeah.
sure from a sound client. And like you shouldn't feel safe buying a PS5 from a dude who just bought 10 PS5s. I'm sorry, he's a sketchy motherfucker and you
Hmm.
shouldn't support that. And you're paying him more. If
Right.
you don't pay him, the store will eventually get it and he won't be able to restock and you'll be able to buy it for the regular price of the store. They literally will go back to that, but like you really have to resist. I've never bought a scalped product and I don't intend on it.
Yeah. Me neither.
Fuck that. Yeah.
Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up. This has been This Is Difficult podcast. If you're watching this live, you are on my channel, Ryugami-san, and I do video games on
Mm.
Tuesdays. And right now we've moved to Thursdays. It might move back to Wednesdays, but as of right now, it's Tuesdays and Thursdays. We play games. It's usually like a series that I'm going through, or like a one particular game I'm playing all the way through the story. Right now, I'm playing through Kena Bridge of Spirits, which is fucking
Mm.
awesome. You guys need to check that game out. Um, and then I'll also be probably bringing Adam in for some more Brawler Bros more often as well. Usually, probably on Thursday night. Samurai Saturdays. We always play a samurai game on Saturday, and that's a lot of fun. And then we're back here on Sunday nights for the podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, please share it, like, comment, subscribe, that whole shenanigans. But sharing it's the most important thing for us. And if you want to yell at me on Twitter, you can. My handle is
Sweet.
right below.
There it is.
Our social stuff, all of our links are in the chat right now. Don't forget to join our Discord if you want to ask questions or give us topic suggestions, things like that, or communicate with us about the games we're playing, whatever featured games that we're reviewing, things like that. That's a really great place to do it. So hit us up there.
We're there.
Josh, where can we find you, man?
Lord Yeshua and Lord Yeshua TTV all over the place. Check me out. Maybe streaming this week. I got a new schedule at work, so I'm only off the weekends now, which sounds good, but it's actually less overall free time technically because I'm working more days and less concentration of hours. But we'll see where streaming fits in. I'm doing a lot of voice acting now. Check me out on YouTube at Lord Yeshua TTV actually, and you'll be able to find my new script that I've dropped, episode 1 and 2, for those who haven't seen it yet. These are table reads, and I'm looking for critiques. I'm also looking for artists for this project, so that's kind of been consuming a lot of my time, but it's pretty fun, so check me out on YouTube. Check those out. Let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up, no thumbs downs, or I'll ban you. I'm just kidding. I just feel bad.
Yeah, it just hurts my
bad.
feelings.
Just hurts my feelings because I put a lot of work into it. But yeah, check that out, and don't be a dick. Anyway.
Very good, very good. And don't forget to Zach's not here, but you can find
yes.
him. Another Letdown is where he streams, and his Twitter handles down there as well. Yep, he's our homie. He'll be back next week. And everyone else have an awesome night. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.